socialist. He wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum wage. How can someone vote for this?
He's a snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New York's high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living, and this is what we've done in the city. And I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go backwards. And New Yorkers never surrender or quit. I'm never going to quit for the city that I love.
That is so interesting. You're in the position, so you know you don't have the authority to do that. Yet he's running on all these promises he's not going to be able to fulfill. And
all right, guys, so we're going to get right into it. This Zohran Mamdani guy seems to be triggering the entire internet, guys. I mean, he's triggering everybody, right? From Trump to far-right-wing conservatives to left-wingers to people in the middle. Like this guy, he's an independent, Eric Adams, and they're saying he's an Islamist and he's going to implement Sharia law and all this other shit, and people are going to be walking on the streets with niqabs. And, you know, and the funny thing is the guy's a democratic socialist, right? That's completely antithetical to being a Muslim, you know? So I don't know how how these people are using these stupid-ass arguments. I think he was very critical of Israel and their handling of the genocide in Gaza. And so people are saying now, oh, he's an Islamist. He's going to, you know, and the guy's as liberal as can be. So I don't know how that makes any sense. Anyways, Eric Adams is a big ol', you know, if he wants to, if you want to call anyone a snake oil salesman, take a look in the fucking mirror. I mean, this guy was taking, by the way, bribe money from the Turkish government to build like a Turkish diplomatic, you know, building, or he was getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars from Erdogan, which is considered an Islamist in the West, and they were attempting to build like this diplomatic building where they can commit like espionage and spy on the government and shit like that in the middle of Manhattan, which it was already built. And the guy was like investigated. They ran up into his apartment. They took all his iPhones, his electronics. So if anybody is a fucking this guy's the last person that should be opening his damn mouth about any of that stuff. But there's a sentiment within the right-wing conservative media where they're very, again, like the reason why this guy is being hated is because they're very insecure and he's threatening their whole spill, right? Because a lot of these conservatives, see, the Democrats, left-wing Democrats took a huge L, man, with Trump, man, and what went down with them. They lost so much, and the Democrats, it's like a failing entity, so they needed someone strong and who can kind of put him back in the track. And then they're going with this guy, and they're using him, you know, in the angle that he's like this anti-Zionist. He's not funded by AIPAC, and you know all the stuff that young liberal suburban white men and women are protesting over and see as a huge concern for them, as you know, things are starting to change, especially in America, where now people are starting to realize, like, oh shit, our politicians are, no way, they're actually being bought and sold by AIPAC, and the reason why a lot of our foreign policy is fucked up and geared towards Israel is because of an Israeli lobby. No shit. Okay, well, we're voting for the guy who says, hey, we're not with that shit. I'm going to arrest Netanyahu when he comes into New York. He's not going to be able to arrest anybody, guys. I mean, he's come on, get the fuck out of here. The guy's just the mayor of a fucking city. Like, you know, he's just feeding people, like, you know, he's giving them, like, he's telling them what they want to hear. He's feeding them like, he's telling them, oh, a $30 an hour minimum wage. And again, this is all rhetoric to get elected, right? But this guy is a likable guy, number one. Number two, he knows how to convey himself. He knows how to talk. He knows how to attract attention. He knows how to. He's not like one of these like, he's not like a. He's like an AOC. I'm gonna be honest with you, as an AOC times 3. He's like a really intelligent, sophisticated AOC, which is very fucking dangerous to the far right wing leaning crowd. And then you have like the far right wing leaning media, conservative media, which is very racist. And obviously they use the fact that he's Muslim as like, it's this, oh my God, he's an Islamist, when he's a fucking democratic socialist, completely opposite ideology. So and not only that, the guy is very liberal, right? We've been seeing like, I saw him with his wife, and he's nowhere near what you would consider like this hardlining Muslim, but he is very critical of Israel, which a lot of the far right wing, like the Rashida Tlaibs and all these people, are very critical of Israel. Similar to him, he's going to have the same viewpoint because the left is just very critical on the guy. They're very critical on what's going on in Gaza. So, this is like him and his wife, very liberal looking. They're not all the way conservative Muslim. She's over here wearing a skirt. So it's like, this is all propaganda, and it shows the true nature of the right-wing leaning conservatives. There's this huge racist element that they're always going to have, right? And they're going to use that as an advantage and to also get their base riled up, like, oh my fucking God, a Muslim's gonna be a mayor in America, holy shit, this hasn't happened in ever, so they're doing that type of shit. And then we have people on CNN. I'm gonna play a clip here where this is absolutely hilarious. We have some random person here who makes admits on CNN, like, a lot of people in New York are scared because he's Muslim. He's like this big scary Muslim.
From, various people here in New York, and they're concerned about their safety living here with a Muslim mayor, and that's the problem.
Highly probable.
Hold on.
They shouldn't.
Because of
hold
on. We talked about this yesterday, and since you brought it up, might as well bring it up again. The idea that because he is Muslim, he is a threat to Jewish New Yorkers, is that really what you're saying?
No, it's because of his anti-Israel rhetoric that he's been putting out.
But what does that have to do with him being Muslim? I think this is where you can go after his policies, but what does that have to do with his faith?
It's not about his faith. It's because he is perpetuating this anti-Israeli rhetoric, and New Yorkers are hearing it, and they're scared. That's what I'm hearing back from friends.
He's aimed at
Bibi.
He's aimed at a lot at Bibi. He did the interview with Mehdi Hassan, and he aimed at Bibi, not necessarily.
But Abby, he's Muslim. Who cares? That's not the point here. His policies are the problem.
Yeah, so they're going to use that angle, guys, to disparage him because he is a threat. Let's be honest with you guys, because Trump is doing horrible. Like, his first 6 months were just absolutely atrocious. The guy hasn't been able to stop any wars. If anything, he's involved in several wars now. A huge one in the Middle East, which would be pretty much like a cherry on top of a fucking cake for China, seeing that America is going to be weakened, and they're going to extract their resources in the Middle East, their military resources, while China's this looming threat. So, the Democrats are using this guy as like their main guy now. He's making headlines and shit like that, and he's a force to be reckoned with. And so these people are shitting bricks to the point where you have Bill Ackman, who's dropping hundreds of millions of dollars to try to get this guy out, right? Bill Ackman's trying to get this guy the fuck out because he's going to be perpetuating the whole, hey, we're sick of AIPAC fucking telling us what to do, and AIPAC controlling our foreign policy. And so Bill Ackman's like, no, that's not happening. We know what we know who he rolls with. This guy's a rich Jewish man who's, very pro-Israel. So they're not having that. So they're going to try to Jamal Bowman him out of there. But the guy's just so popular. So they're kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, the only way this guy could lose, they have to just try to just ignore him, right? Because New York is fed up. I know. New York is fed up. It's not the city it once was. So, the only way they could really do anything here is to ignore the guy because he's coming in strong, right?
And I'd also tell Bill Ackman that I firmly disagree with his attempt to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion across the country, because it's not only against the morals of so many, it's also against the actual bottom line for so many businesses. And as a businessman, he should understand that.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. I want to see him win for sure. I want to see him win so these motherfuckers could cry in their little, in the corner like little losers. And this guy's getting so much hate mail and hate messages. It's absolutely unreal. They act like, people in New York, let's just be honest here. Like it's not just white Protestant Christians in New York. They don't make up the majority there, right? If anything, they're the minority. And so you need someone that represents, what New York looks like. So whether they like it or not, it is what it is. I mean, they didn't complain when Eric Adams was taking money from Tayyip Erdogan to build a Turkish fucking spying agency where diplomats could fly over and fucking do. We don't know what the fuck they're gonna do, right? Because we know that Turkey's they consider Turkey as an Islamist nation. So how are you gonna call this guy out who's saying, hey, he's not, he's for New Yorkers first, and he doesn't really have any smut on his record, but you're not going to sit there and talk about how Eric Adams took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Erdogan in Turkey, right? So they can build their fucking, come on, man. Anyways, let's hope this guy actually secures the win and he doesn't get sabotaged by Bill Ackman and all these other crazy motherfuckers. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Peace.